Hi everyone. I am Nikita Soni, Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science at University of Illinois, Chicago. And today I'll be talking about our paper on Towards Understanding Family Privacy and Security Literacy Conversations at Home, Design Implications for Privacy Literacy Interfaces. This work was led by my graduated students at UIC and was done in collaboration with Yaxing from Virginia Tech. So nowadays, children are using technologies more and more frequently and at younger ages. A recent report on children's media use by UK's Office of Communications found that despite age restrictions, around 12% of 12% of 9-year-olds used one or more social media sites, increasing to approximately 34% by age of 11. So with the rise of cyberbullying, online predators, and hacking of smart home devices, it has become really important for children to develop online privacy and security literacy in order to be able to make independent decisions online. Parent-child conversations are one of the most effective ways to influence children's privacy and security decision-making skills. As such, policymakers, researchers, and educators have often emphasized the need for creating education technologies and materials that enable effective parent-child conversations around this topic of digital privacy and security. Despite this emphasis on parent-child conversation, we know little about existing parent-child conversation practices, including their content, structure, children's engagement during these conversations. And these practices seem really important for us to understand in order to design better privacy and security literacy interfaces for families. Online privacy and security concepts in general are abstract, making them difficult for children to understand and apply them to real world. So in terms of definition, considered in this paper, online privacy and security are a very broad term for which descriptions depend on audience and context. In this paper, we draw on the definition of privacy literacy from prior work, stating it as the practice of enacting appropriate information flows within social technical systems. So thinking of privacy literacy as not just about knowing facts, but about children having critical thinking and decision-making skills where they can understand and analyze different digital contexts, assess what is a suitable behavior in that particular context, comprehend the implications of information sharing, and then decide on appropriate actions to take on. So although prior work has explored ways in which parents could influence children's privacy and security understanding, and have indeed provided useful insights, but this prior work has delved deeply into understanding the nature of parent-child conversations and has also called for more work for in-depth analysis of the type of conversations parents and children are having and their exemplary characteristics. So as such, the goal of this paper was to understand the types of conversations parent and children have at home related to privacy and security, the extent to which children are engaged in these conversations, and how can we take these existing parent-child conversation practices and approaches into account when designing future privacy and security literacy interfaces for families. So before I go into discussing our methods, I will highlight our main findings and contributions. So in this paper, we developed a characterization of 5 types of parent-child conversation methods. In terms of different categories of conversations, we found rule-based conversations where parents talk to children about do's and don'ts of what they should be doing online as one of the frequently discussed conversational method. We also found example-based conversations where parents showed tangible examples as one of the methods that actually parents perceived to be effective with children. In terms of engagement, parents of younger children in our study, that's ages under 11, felt that although children engaged in conversation and asked questions about parents' rationale behind their guidance about privacy and security, these young children often had a very simplistic and black and white understanding of online privacy and security and needed more scaffolding and collaborative discussion between parents and children to understand contextual nuances of privacy and security decision-making. So based on all of our findings, we proposed multiple design implications in the paper, particularly calling for more work to explore best interaction design practices for collaborative learning interfaces for family, so that it supports more in-the-moment discussion opportunities for both parents and children. So in our study design, we conducted an online semi-structured interview study with 13 parents. Each of them had at least one child aged 13 and under. Our interview session duration ranged from 20 to 59 minutes. The interview questions were structured around parents' approaches to discussing digital privacy topics with children, children's engagement, and current approaches they have been employing to discuss what worked, what hasn't worked, and what they need for the future. Parents were also asked to take part in a design probe activity after answering questions, where they were prompted to discuss how they might teach some listed privacy concepts to children. So we transcribed the videos, and 3 researchers analyzed the interview transcripts using inductive thematic analysis. Next, we'll discuss about our findings. So the goal of our analysis was to uncover the nature of conversation approaches parents use to engage children in discussion regarding privacy and security concepts. And the goal was not to definitely identify which is the most effective conversational approach here. So we identified 5 approaches that parents used, including rule-based, example-based, exposing decision-making, consequence-based, and contextual. These conversation categories employed by parents can help us serve as foundation for guiding future research into understanding which approaches might be most effective for children and how it might vary based on children's age group or the content being discussed. So during our analysis, we saw a recurrent theme of parents asking children to adhere to specific rules and regulations regarding what they should do and should not do online, such as instructing not to share passwords, personal data, or location with others online. So that's what is included in the rule-based conversation approach. For example, one parent in our study expressed their stress about children's privacy and actually had them sign contracts about the rule they should follow when they are online. Another parent in our study told their child not to upload vacation photos with geolocation tags when they are on vacation, to, again, an example of a rule-based approach where they're telling child what to do and what not to do. The example-based conversation was another approach employed by parents to discuss privacy-related topics with children. In this approach, parents mentioned about showing tangible examples during conversations with children to contextualize what they were talking about, rather than just telling them. And overall, we saw parents found this approach and perceived this approach to be effective. So for example, one parent in our study said, examples are really important. Giving example children helps them make distinction. Another parent shared the strategy of showing phishing emails and text messages as a teaching tool to convey nuances of abstract privacy concepts to children. So based on this finding, we recommend that designers consider incorporating more tangible examples and visualizations within privacy literacy applications designed for families, as it could provide parents with the starting points to discuss with children and then prompt children more to reflect on different actions they can take in different digital contexts. For example, one platform suggested by parents was something that asks children to differentiate between different types of data that can share personal likes or dislike versus private information like location, so that they get some time to reflect and think about, and parents will have some time to reflect. Another conversational approach used by parents in our study involved parents exposing their own thought process for digital privacy actions and decisions to their children. So with this approach, instead of dictating rules, parents took the initiative to share their own reasoning and rationale behind the choices and hoped that this could encourage critical thinking and informed decision-making in children. So for example, one parent mentioned, as you can see in the code, about exposing their thought process of verifying if the website they are going to enter their credit card on, which their child asked them to do, was secure or not before they enter the information. So as in the quote, parents said, I'm trying to show them what I do, like where did you get the website from, where I will be entering my credit card information, was the link from the actual website, and ask some similar questions with the hope to teach children how to think and learn. So in a consequence-based approach, we saw parents actively engage their children in contemplating the potential risk of or consequences of their online actions. So unlike example-based conversations that present tangible examples, consequence-based discussions leverage consequential thinking to motivate children to think about potential risks of their online actions. So in our study, we saw multiple parents mentioned how they explicitly tied online actions to potential outcomes to facilitate awareness of unknown consequences that children might not be thinking. So for example, in this quote here, we saw one parent express to their children the actual real-world consequence of careless information sharing without considering the context where they are sharing the information and how it led them to receiving unwanted phone calls. None of the parents actually in our study discussed effectiveness of this conversational approach in the context of privacy literacy. Although the effectiveness of these consequence-based conversations has been shown in other general contexts outside privacy literacy, we think it might differ when applied to privacy literacy contexts, especially with young children, because they often have difficulty conceptualizing privacy concepts due to the abstractness, let alone understanding the implications of those actions. So therefore, we think more work might be needed to evaluate the effectiveness of these consequence-based conversations in the context of privacy for young children. Finally, the contextual conversation is the last category we saw in our analysis, in which parents highlighted different methods they used based on the applications children were using. If children were using applications, specific gaming applications or social media applications, parents tended to use those applications to guide conversations with children. For example, in this quote, we see parents discussing decision-making nuances of sharing location information when using a map application versus another application such as social media app, so that it gives some tools for children to think about how decisions of sharing location might change based on the different applications they might be using. So during our study, we also prompted parents to brainstorm ideas for educational interfaces that can help them better explain abstract privacy concepts to children while engaging them in decision-making discussions. Some parents in our study recognize that younger children, especially 10 and under, might perceive digital privacy and security in a relatively simplistic and black and white manners due to their limited understanding of the concepts, which could potentially hinder their ability to grasp nuances and discern when to share information online and how to respond to the online risks. One thing these parents highlighted was the need for educational interfaces that offer parents and children in-the-moment discussion and reflection opportunities so that parents would have more time to understand what children are thinking and scaffold their thinking process. So for example, as seen in the quote, one parent proposed a sandbox type environment where they can pretend to get access or pretend to hack their child's account and do stuff a potential hacker might do to just get the child to thinking about what might happen and how to handle different situations in a real world context. So based on this finding, we recommended in our paper of providing more synchronous collaborative learning opportunities for families through interface design, where interface engages both parents and child together and have opportunities for discussion where children can ask questions and parents can gain more insights into their mental models. So in our overall takeaway, we saw example-based conversations to be perceived effective, where parents included tangible examples of what they were talking about. We recommend, based on our findings, to explore the effectiveness of consequence-based conversations with children. And based on our finding, we also recommend providing more synchronous collaborative learning opportunities for parents and children where they both are engaged in the learning process to help children further their understanding and decision-making skills for privacy and security. So with this, I thank you for listening. I'll be happy to answer any questions either at the conference or virtually. Thank you.